Welcome to Not What I Thought. I'm Erica.
I'm Yolanda.
And I'm Becca. We're therapists, entrepreneurs, and perfectly imperfect humans.
We first met during a business owner retreat where we became fast friends because we're not afraid to be real and ask the hard questions about life. What we thought it would be like, how messy it actually is, and the courage it takes to create the life we want.
We continue to build our friendship and personal growth through our own retreats. We find the deepest connection in sharing our struggles and finding what we have in common rather than what divides us.
We're breaking down hard topics on our podcast and together have conversations about what it takes to find real talk, real support, and real rest for professional women. We're glad you're here. Join us on your favorite podcast platform.
Okay, fresh off the.
Hot off the press.
Thank you. Hot off the press. What the fuck am I saying? I don't know.
It's so fresh, we don't even have words for it.
It's so fresh, exciting. Hot off the press. I was mother of the groom over the weekend, and I think it was just one of those situations that I didn't know what to expect, and it wasn't what I thought, and
Mm.
it was everything that I could have hoped for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I think there's so much that gets wrapped into a wedding. I think weddings and funerals are kind of monumental things, right? And everyone has a different wedding story. And, leading up to it, this whole hype of being mother of the groom and what does that even mean? And what is my role? And um, I think what was most surprising about the whole process was that my husband and I, as parents of the groom, were pretty hands off as far as the planning of things. We would give our input when the couple asked for it, when our son and his fiance asked for it. We would be supportive in all the ways that we knew how to and all the ways that they asked us to. But otherwise, we were like, this is their day and they get to decide what that looks like. Um, which wasn't necessarily the case across the board because, you know, weddings are monumental and there are family members that have really big thoughts and feelings and expectations.
So
Um,
did that work for you? Like to be sort of hands off and we'll just give opinions when we're consulted, or was that a hard position for you? Like, did you have to be very conscious of like that this is my role, I need to wait till I'm asked?
yes, I am always, just because of the way that I have tried to practice being a parent. It was a very conscious decision and one that I had to remind myself of. And I think the bigger piece for me, what I noticed in all of this was um, to not give my opinion about other people giving their opinions.
Mm.
Because there was a part of me that wanted to tell them what to do about other people giving their opinions about the way that they wanted. So I
So
was
like,
like,
hey, I am doing a great job at
I'm
letting the
doing that.
couple decide, and I think that this other family member should also do what I'm doing.
right, right. And the couple also needs to hear my opinion about how they need to ignore the other
The other,
people who are trying to tell them what to do, which is in its own way. So this is where it gets sneaky. This is where it sneaks up on the backside for me. I'm like, no, no,
Mhm.
that's the same thing. That's also a form of being controlling. Yeah, so it was a very conscious decision. It's one that I had to kind of keep bringing myself back to the reminder that this was their day and they needed to plan it the way that they wanted to, you know? Um, and then being the official role of mother of the groom is like an important role, but it's not like being mother of the bride. So I'm curious if our daughter decides to get married, if that will feel different somehow.
What do you see as the differences in those roles?
I think the mother of the groom role, at least from my experience, is a more understated role. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just more understated. I don't know.
That's how you showed up in the role of nobody should have opinions about this.
That's right. Yeah, but I mean, our my son was very sweet. He did, they did plan like the mother of the groom dance at the reception. He chose a really heartwarming song, and we did that. But I wasn't asked to give a speech, nor did I feel the need to give a speech or want to give a speech. So it's just kind of things like that. Um, and I think holding it all loosely really allowed for me to be present and to just really focus on the two of them and to be able to take in just the joy of it all and have a lot of fun. I had so much fun.
I am really glad to hear that because I think I have a perception that having a big wedding, big old party or whatever, feels like a lot of stress.
Hmm.
There's so many things that go into it, and you have to move quickly from the one event to the other event. And um, I think the story that I have about it is that anyone who is involved in the planning of it doesn't actually have that much fun.
Hmm.
Right. Or that maybe not even the planning of it, but like the family who is like right there in the core of all the things that seems very stressful. So it
Yeah.
just is, I don't know, something sort of surprising and nice for me to hear that, like, oh, I actually had a great time. Before we started recording, Yolanda said that she was sore from all the dancing,
Dancing.
right? Like, oh, that means you had a great time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
At least for me, I think not getting so wrapped up in being super involved in the planning, again, we helped out where they wanted us to help out. We gave opinions where they asked. And um, because like all of those little details weren't weighing on me, I was like, yeah, let's have a party. Let's go. They're getting married. Like that's but I also remember thinking back to my own wedding that I was just like, I just want to be married. By the time by the time it was our wedding day, I was like, I don't really care what happens. I don't care about the details. I just want to be married. So I might have carried a little bit of like that into like they just get to be married now and make this official. And I think that that's part of a little bit of what was not what I was anticipating because they've been together for a number of years. And so there's a way in which like a wedding, I don't know, makes that official, but also it's just them. It's just them and their relationship. They're still them.
Because she already has been a part of your family for
For
a while.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're just the two of them with rings now and a marriage certificate.
Yeah. Is there
Mm.
any part of that that feels a little bit different? I mean, I guess I'm thinking, if we went back 100 years ago,
Right,
weddings were like there was maybe a sort of expectation of chastity before marriage, or the couple didn't live together, or
right.
even this idea that like the wedding maybe used to be a party that the parents threw for the bride and groom, and now it's much more that the couple is hosting the party for
Yeah.
the parents. And that just is, I would imagine as the parent, right? It's like a different dynamic and maybe also frees you up to really enjoy and be able to celebrate in a different way.
Yeah, actually what you're naming is part of the conversation that we had along the way, right? Because weddings do mean something different now. Relationships are different now, right? So even back 30 years ago when Shaman and I got married, it wasn't standard for couples to live together before they got married. People did, people have
Mhm.
all along, but it wasn't the norm. And so now, these two have lived together for years, and again, they've been together. She's been a part of our family. We were a little bit, more removed. We offered, we were like, here's our budget, like you can do what you want and spend what you want on your wedding. Here's what we're able to give you, and it's a gift, like use it however you see fit. And so didn't get really too invested in any of those details. And I think for me, that was good because that helped with I think that there's in my history at least, an element of control that can go along with money.
Mm.
And so I kind of tried to keep that clean for myself. So that wasn't like a slippery slope for me, So I think that was part of why I didn't get caught up too much in some of the details that I kept reminding myself at the end of the day, they're going to be married and none of this other stuff matters, right? Our wedding candle didn't light, our unity candle didn't light at our wedding, right? And that can be something that can feel devastating in the moment when you put so much time and energy into all of the little details. And ultimately 30 years down the road, the candle didn't light and it wasn't the end of the world.
It didn't mean
It
them for.
wasn't an omen. It wasn't, it was just like, oh, well, there, the candle didn't light. Look at
I think
that. That'll be a funny story to tell.
I don't think we realized we were supposed to take the two candles and put them together or something. Like we
Yeah.
did our own. I can't even remember what the situation was, but the pastor pulled it off, and he was like, "They're so differentiated and independent or something." They're great. You don't even need to do this. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I think we did it wrong, but that's okay."
And I
Yeah.
come from a tradition where right now in this conversation, I'm like, what's a unity candle?
Right. Yeah. See, and look,
See?
you don't even have to have a unity candle at a wedding.
Who knew?
But that actually was something that our son said, he was like, at the end of it, it'll be a story to tell. I was like, that's a great way of keeping things,
So I have a question for you. Like thinking about the way that culture has changed so much around weddings
yeah.
and like if the couple didn't live together before, then the wedding is, and especially wedding gifts are like, oh, let's set them up for their first
Right.
home
Yeah.
together, right? Which that isn't a thing anymore. Or
Right.
there can be a whole like bachelor, bachelorette, or like we're decorating
Mhm.
and decorating the car and sending them off, and
Yeah.
they're gonna go have their first night together, right? Like it
Right.
doesn't mean those things
No. Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and I wonder, maybe from just like your perspective, but also
Yeah.
maybe what you've seen observing this couple as they're getting ready, like what does it mean to you now, if it's not these other things that it traditionally has been?
I a joyful celebration of love.
Mm.
A joyful celebration of love. And it's funny because the number of times people ask, like, where's their registry? And, like you said, Becca, I mean, they did have a registry, they had stuff on it, but mostly they're like, if you'd like to give us money for our honeymoon and to put a deposit on a house, that's what that's really what we would like money for. And we pulled up to my husband and I pulled up to the venue and in the parking lot of the venue, our daughter's car was decorated, just married, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I am so confused. What is happening right now?" And that was mostly because she was their designated driver, and she drove them back to their place, before they left the next day to take a local honeymoon. So yeah, it's just. Um, a celebration of their love. And, 'Cause, 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 their commitment to each other. And I wouldn't even say it's a celebration of bringing families together because I don't even necessarily view it that way. I mean, for them, yes, but like for all of us extended, not necessarily. I mean, you know, so it was a party. It was joyful. We danced, we sang, we watched them. I watched the way that they looked at each other.
Mm.
And in my mind's eye, I saw my son at like each stage of his life and thinking, oh my gosh, how do we get here?
Yeah.
And so I did cry. They were tears of joy, they were tears of gratitude. They were tears of looking forward to the future, because they, for whatever reason, now are, I mean, there is a part of it that feels more official. I mean, in the eyes of the law and all that kind of stuff, it is more official. And on the other side of this, there, I'm hearing that there will be grandchildren.
We'll
So
talk
that's
about that
cool.
when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just yeah, and that's something that they get to decide for themselves. And so I'm excited about that. And also there's a lot more Wednesday night dinners and stuff that we get to have together. So, which is our weekly tradition of getting together and eating and playing games and just being with one another. So that's really what I kept coming back to is this person's been part of our Wednesday night tradition for a long time now. And especially since Shaman and I just celebrated our 30th anniversary at the beginning of the month before we ended the month with this wedding. I was like, they're gonna blink and it's gonna be 30 years for them. And they used our Precious Moments cake topper. It was so cute. It was so
From
cute.
your wedding?
From our wedding.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
adorable.
Yes. I don't even know how one Wednesday night we were talking about wedding stuff and she, our daughter-in-law said something about the cake topper and I was asking her what she was looking for and I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Did it look like this? And she was like, that's what I'm wanting. And I was like, here.
Oh,
So they cleaned it up and put it on their cake.
Oh, that's so
It was
great.
amazing.
that is so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, what does your heart know to be true, Yolanda?
Um, love wins in the midst of all the drama. There's enough drama on its own, but ultimately it was the story of these two people's love that won the night, brought us all together.
What does your heart know, Erica?
Think I just keep coming back to intentionality really is the way to go in all things in life. If we're asking ourselves those questions, why are we doing these things and what is there to be stressed about and what's important and what do we want an event or anything else to be, we can make it super special and stress-free. It could be both and.
Oh, they were stressed. I was just like, nope, not on my watch. I don't need it.
The least
That's
amount of
not about
stress.
me.
Oh, Becca, what does your heart know to be true?
Um, my heart knows that we can take long established traditions and make them our own. We can give them new meaning. We can shift things around, or we can keep them exactly as they were because that's what's meaningful to us. Right? Like we get to decide. And that like a shifting of things doesn't have to mean that we are like completely throwing away, right? Or this is what humans do. We adapt and we change, and we're allowed to do that now too.